Hi there, Rick with Smart Drive Test talking to you today about the work pre-trip. Many students who graduate from driving schools with their license have spent a considerable amount of time learning the pre-trip inspection and knowing that they have 45 minutes to do a pre-trip inspection for the purposes of a road test. A pre-trip inspection for the purposes of a road test and a work pre-trip are two different animals. And we're going to talk to you today about what is the difference between a work pre-trip and a pre-trip inspection for the purposes of a road test. We'll be right back to talk to you about that. Hi there, Rick. Welcome back. Talking to you today about the work pre-trip versus the pre-trip inspection for the purposes of a road test. Many Class 1 students, tractor trailer drivers, AZ in Ontario and other parts of the country, come in, they spend a few weeks at a driving school learning the pre-trip inspection for the purposes of a road test, and they allocate 45 minutes for the purposes of a road test to demonstrate that in a driver's license. Now, when you get out and work, many students are like, well, how do I do a pre-trip inspection? No company's going to pay me 45 minutes to do a pre-trip inspection, and they're exactly right. However, for the course of the day, you're still going to do a 45-minute pre-trip. You're just not going to do a 45-minute pre-trip all at once. You come in the morning, you open the hood, check the oil. One of the absolutes, always check the oil, because as I tell students, they get really excited when you blow up a $25,000 motor. That's about what it is for an in-frame and a 6-cylinder diesel engine, is $25,000. So always check the oil, make sure there's no leaks, nothing out of the ordinary under the hood. Fire it up, do your pressure leaks. I always tell students to put the air to the trailer, because if you're going to have a leak, you're going to have a leak in the trailer. Close the hood, turn the lights on, the four-ways, get your hammer, walk around, bang the tires, make sure all the tires are inflated, make sure all the lights are working, get back in, fill your pre-trip inspection out. Now, most of the 45-minute pre-trip inspection is going to happen over the course of the day, because every time you walk away from the vehicle, every time you walk back towards the vehicle, you're going to be looking at the vehicle, making sure there's no damage. Another good practice to have as a driver on the road: every time you park your vehicle, come back, have a quick check of the fifth wheel connection, make sure that some bad person has not pulled your fifth wheel pin. So just have a quick check of that as well. When you're sitting in the truck, you're driving the truck, you're listening, you're hearing, you're feeling, you're seeing, you're monitoring gauges. You're always inspecting that vehicle, and one of the gauges that needs to be continually monitored is your oil pressure gauge, because you don't want the oil pressure to drop in the motor. I did have that happen in a bus in Australia. The oil pressure gauge dropped. As soon as the oil pressure drops, you're going to blow the motor up if you continue to run it, so you have to shut it off right away. Same thing for logging truck drivers. If the truck rolls over and you feel it roll over, because a rollover starts slow and then ends quickly, shut the motor off, otherwise you're going to blow the motor up. If you shut the motor off and tip the truck back up and all the oil drains down in about 25 minutes, you're good to go again. So monitor the oil gauge. You are still going to do a 45-minute pre-trip on a big vehicle, commercial vehicle, your RVs, buses, over the course of the day, except unlike a pre-trip inspection for the purposes of a road test, you're just not going to do your 45-minute pre-trip all at one time. You're going to come in the morning, you're going to do about 10 or 15 minutes, checking the tires, the lights, and everything else, and making sure that it's good to go. And then you're going to do the rest of your pre-trip inspection over the course of the day. Now, there has been some discussion in the driving training circles about post-trips. Post-trips are not required by legislation, except if you find something wrong with the vehicle during the course of the day, then you're going to do a post-trip. You're going to mark it on your pre-trip so you can get it fixed. In conclusion, the work pre-trip is different than the pre-trip inspection for the purposes of a road test. Yes, you are going to do a 45-minute pre-trip for the course of your work day. You're just not going to do a 45-minute pre-trip all at once. You're going to come in the morning, check the lights, check the tires, the air pressure, make sure everything's working. The rest of your pre-trip inspection is going to be done during the day, during an en route. Every time you walk away from the vehicle, you're going to check it. Every time you walk back, you're going to check it. And while you're sitting in the truck, you're listening, hearing, feeling, seeing, smelling, monitoring gauges. That's how you do a 45-minute pre-trip. It's part and parcel of your professionalism. You're constantly monitoring that machine and making sure that it's working well. I'm Rick with Smart Drive Test. Thanks for watching. If you like the channel, subscribe below. Hit that button over there. Hit that one. Subscribe to the channel. Thanks very much for watching. Remember, pick the best answer, not necessarily the right answer. Have a great day. Bye now.